Good morning. Today I'm going to share a little bit of my experience, and bear in mind that what I'm sharing is my opinion about this. It's a touchy subject. The title is Discerning Prophets, Seers, and Channeled Messages. There are many voices in the world, today more than ever. The way I choose to discern the truth or error of those voices is different today than when I was a fundamentalist Christian. Then, it was all about left brain comparison and how it measured up to what I had been told was true. Now, it is about listening to my heart. What resonates as truth? Each individual will determine truth or error based on where he or she is in regard to their personal evolutionary journey. To me, we are being taught to follow our heart and trust our gut, although many still apply the older concept based on religious authoritarian indoctrination. With the advent of the internet, spiritual messages or channeled messages or religious teachings are more accessible now than perhaps at any time in human history, or at least in human history over the past several thousand years. Where we have come in our ability to communicate simply staggers the mind. And because of that greater ability to communicate, both hearing and speaking, giving messages and receiving them, people are more awake than we've ever been to the smorgasbord of opportunities and the smorgasbord of ideas that is presented to us, each of us individually. And we each need to make a personal decision on what voices, what information we are going to trust. Most of us are aware that there is information and disinformation and misinformation, and they all abound. There's a plethora of information available to anyone that looks for it because of Google and because of the easy accessibility via the internet that we have available to us in this day and age. And so, because of all of these many voices that are available to us, it is important that we determine for ourselves which method of discernment we are going to use. Most of us that were raised with some kind of religion, no matter which one it is, doesn't matter, were basically indoctrinated into the dogma or accepted and acceptable truths of that religion. This method of interpretation, this method of discernment is still present today, and many follow it. What does the Bible say about it is the way that I was taught. And we would go and we would compare any idea that seemed new to us. Well, what does the Bible say about this? And I want to make it really clear that many things in the Bible resonate with me very strongly to this day, as do things that come from other religions. I find great resonance with many things along many spiritual paths, things that I didn't even know existed when I was, quote, only a Christian. Now I'm a Christian plus. I'm a Christian and everything else too, because I realize from my perspective, and it is my perspective, that God has always spoken to everyone in every generation and in every culture. And there have been valid words and valid messages given to each people throughout the ages. I derive great wisdom from Native American spiritual teachings, for example, and from Indian or Hindu spiritual teachings, and Buddhist spiritual teachings, and Muslim spiritual teachings. I derive truth from a wide variety of sources, knowing that ultimately there is one source. And I'm not going, because I have come to the place in my life where I realize that religion is one of the main areas where human beings and human culture has been manipulated by those that want to control others. I am much more reluctant to swallow any teachings hook, line, and sinker and say, well, if it's in the Bible, it must be true. Well, I've come to the realization that the Bible is not a pure source, in that it has never been tampered with through the ages. I believe it has been tampered with a lot. And so I even have to discern in the Bible, well, is this something that God would have really said? Would God have really taught people to kill others, for example? Which contradicts, thou shalt not kill. And yet, in the very words of the Bible, there are commands supposedly from God to annihilate your enemies. Don't let your eye pity, don't even spare the mother with the child. Cut them, tear them asunder. Kill even the animals. Don't go with your natural instinct of loving life and of honoring life. Go against that instinct and kill, kill, kill. Commands like that exist in the Bible. And then there are Christians that say, well, that the Quran is a book that teaches war. Haven't they read the Bible? I mean, these are prevalent in religions, and I tend to reject such things as not being from God. Because the God that I have come to know in my life by experience is one that builds me up and loves me, not one that tears me down. And that is one of the tools or things that I learn to discern with. Does it build me up? Does it edify me? Or does it tear me down and try to invalidate me and make me feel less than? Anything that tries to make me feel less than does not come from God, because it does not edify me. It does not build me up. It does not give me a sense of self-worth that is essential. I cannot create anything positive from a position in myself of being degrading to myself, of putting myself down, of I'm not good enough. And yet I've been indoctrinated with that very not good enough concept since childhood. Not because my parents were mean. It was because that's all they knew. And that's true for most of us. Our parents did the best they could with what they had. And they were indoctrinated as well, which is why I say we need to be merciful and forgiving to those that have been indoctrinated by false teachings. Teachings that do tear down and denigrate the human experience. And the human experience, believe me, folks, has been denigrated for eons, where our sexuality has been put down, our physicality has been put down. There have been those that have said the only thing that's real is what you can't see. If you can see it, it's not real. Well, that's insane. That's absolute insanity. That means your senses cannot be trusted. Your senses lie to you. And we that are against the senses, we're the ones that are telling you the truth. I have rejected that authoritarian principle of we're the ones that are telling you the truth. Believe what we tell you, even if your senses tell you something totally different. See, I believe that the God that creates all things wants everything to thrive, wants everyone to rise up and understand truth for him or herself, and to know that truth deep in their heart and in their soul and in their being, and recognize that God is love, and love always, always builds up. It doesn't tear down. And even when love points out that you could make a better choice, it does it in such a way that doesn't leave you feeling wounded. I have dealt with people that I thought were speaking from God, and I'd hear their messages, and I'd come away feeling wounded, not built up, but torn down. Is that what I want? Obviously, it wasn't what I wanted. And they were showing me how to make discernment, how to use discernment, how to make honest judgment. There are many channeled messages that are going out, and I personally have some criteria as to which messages I'm going to believe are true. If the messages are predominantly ones that tear me down, I'm going to reject them. If they make me feel bad, I'm going to reject them. Because I don't believe God is trying to make me feel bad and trying to put me into a box that restricts and constrains me and coerces me to believe something that doesn't feel good, that doesn't feel right. And I know there are people that are going to disagree with that, and that's fine. Disagree with it. You can disagree with it all you want. You're going to follow your own heart and your own mind to the best of your ability. We each are. The other thing that I use as a measuring rod, if you will, is, does it tell the truth about our human experience where we are right now? Does it recognize that the world has gone vastly astray? Does it recognize that our leaders are lying to us? Does it recognize that the system is greatly flawed and deceptive to its very core? Does it recognize the reality of the world that we're living in? Or is it some airy-fairy thing of you don't pay attention to the negative? No, Spirit gave me a very clear message some time ago. My job, my responsibility is to respond to whatever is put in front of me. Not call it an illusion or say it's ego to respond. No, not these things that put me down, that make me feel small, that make me not trust myself. On the contrary, the things that help me trust myself and teach me that you can trust your gut. You can follow your heart. Your heart has greater wisdom than your mind. And so messages that deny the truth of where we are in our journey as human beings are not credible. I don't give them much. I don't put much stock in them, which is why Mike Quincy and John Smallman and even though Sheldon Neidl doesn't claim to channel, I follow his channelings. Matthew, Cryon. There are certain channels that I put great stock in. Now, Esther Hicks and Abraham, I have a mixed bag there. I mean, she does tend to negate the reality of our world. And that's a very big red light to me. But yet I've gained wonderful things from Abraham channelings. I have really resonated with much of what Abraham teaches, but not all of it. And in regard to those that I named that I do trust, I don't always resonate with everything they say either. So you can't say, well, because this person is one that Ron trusts, I can trust them too. No, they may not have it all right either, because we all bring forth our messages based on the filters and the experience that we've had in our lives. And so each of us, you and me and all of us, are responsible for what we're going to believe or not believe. And we all have to recognize that we each have filters that lead to the determination of what we're going to trust or not trust. So anyway, these are some of the things that I have learned over my life in regard to discernment. If you are a very elemental in your learning, if you are a babe in spiritual matters, you may need a period of time where you have some authoritarian teaching that provides safe boundaries for you, because children need more control placed on them than we do as we get older. We supposedly moved more and more toward freedom. Anyway, these are the ideas that I felt Spirit wanted me to share with you today. And you're going to take or leave whatever I've shared. If there's something good there that you resonate with, take it. It's yours. It's yours. If something didn't resonate with you, let it go. It's not yours, or it's not yours yet. Know this, though, that the Creator that created all that is in everything and everyone. And the desire of creation, of the Creator expressed through creation, is that all creation will ultimately come home, will remember, will rejoice, because good things are coming. And that's the other discernment. If it's doom and gloom, I don't trust it. But if it is about the happiness and the joy and the celebration that is in front of us, if it is our future pulling us forward, I tend to resonate very strongly with that. And I invite you to trust your own heart and your own gut. Thank you for listening. Namaste.